We got streams to watch. Want awesome Pokemon experiences and fails live? Follow me with notifications on over on Twitch to join me and others on great Pokemon adventures. I go live Sundays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 6 p.m. PST. Links will be in the description below. I have not made a video dedicated to the Pokemon anime in quite some time, but with the hype that is the new Pokemon Journeys anime, I honestly could not resist. As some of you guys may know, today is June 12th, which means that Pokemon Journeys is officially out today on Netflix. With that being said, I wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on how I feel about the series as a whole, so that you guys that are contemplating on watching it can truly know whether or not it is worth watching. When giving my thoughts and opinions, I will not be talking about spoilers, but I may bring up something briefly that I really liked. I will do it in a fashion where you won't be spoiled, but you will be able to grasp what I'm talking about. If you're still confused, don't worry about it. I will give an example later on in the video. In terms of what I'll be covering, I'll be starting off with a synopsis of the characters, comparing this format of the Pokemon anime to the traditional one we're used to, and lastly, I'll cover any final negative or positive thoughts about the series. Okay, I feel I don't need to explain much more than that, as this is pretty straightforward. So let's just hop right into this discussion. The Pokemon Journeys anime stars our favorite protagonist, Ash Ketchum, like always. Alongside Ash Ketchum is another young, aspiring Pokemon addict named Go. Now, Go and Ash are relatively similar in terms of their love for Pokemon. However, there is a distinct difference between the two. Go actually captures Pokemon. Go's primary goal is to capture all the Pokemon. That also explains why Go's personality is very go-getter driven. He wants to go everywhere to capture Pokemon, and I mean, for crying out loud, the dude's obsessing over it. That's not a bad aspect though, because I really enjoy it. His passion brings excitement to the viewer, and it makes you wonder where he will go next. With that being said, him and Ash travel all around the world in search of different Pokemon. Go's character is something I feel the Pokemon anime needed for a long time, because all we see is the same Ash all the time. He just stays in one region, and we see the events unfold as we would in the Pokemon games, except for in Ash's shoes. Speaking of Ash, let's cover him. Ash Ketchum is the same traditional guy we've known for years, except this time, he is a lot smarter in my opinion. I won't say any more than that. Pokemon Journeys debuts Ash in Pallet Town at his house with him and Pikachu sleeping. Professor Oak then comes over and asks if he wants to head over to Vermilion City for a special event for Pokemon professors. From there, Ash meets Go and the other female protagonist, Chloe, or Koharu, if you watch the Japanese subbed. I will be covering her in a bit. So earlier I mentioned Go's goal was to capture all the Pokemon. Well, Ash's goal is still the same of wanting to be a Pokemon master. With still keeping Ash's same goal in mind, the anime takes a different direction for Ash this time around. If you think that taking on the Alola League and winning it was enough for Ash, think again, and let your imaginations run wild, because Ash isn't going to Galar for the League. The experience is much better than that, which I will say is also a very incredible concept. With this concept in mind, we get to see everything that Ash has learned over the years, traveling all over the regions. In all honesty, he feels he has grown up so much since the beginning, and I applaud Pokemon for maturing Ash so much. Note he's still a kid, but I mean as a trainer. Throughout the anime, you will see some incredible battles he partakes in as well, and he even earns the respect of some very important people. Ash Ketchum, in my opinion, is at his peak right now, and I hope he goes higher than that. Of course, on his journey, Ash catches a few Pokemon as well, which I will not name, but I think you guys will like them a lot. I just hope he doesn't release them, because that would be a major mess up on Pokemon's part. Pikachu is also still kicking strong, and is as cute as ever, especially when you can clearly see just how much Ash and Pikachu have bonded over the years. Okay, I kind of talked about Ash for a bit too long. I just remembered we have another protagonist to cover, Chloe or Koharu. Now, Koharu's character is still in early development within the first 12 episodes, so there really isn't a bunch about what I can say about. However, I do think as the series goes on, she will get more involved and we will definitely see some more personality traits and qualities from her. To get into a little backstory of Koharu, she's actually a regular student. Being a regular student in the Pokemon world is something we really don't see that often, so I will admit this is a really interesting take. Koharu and Go also grew up together and are longtime childhood friends. Her personality is very, to the book, I should say. This essentially means she's focused on her studies and just goes through life like an average 10-year-old girl. She does like Pokemon, but she hasn't shown the same passion as Ash and Go so far have. This can change though. Her father is also a highly esteemed Pokemon professor, which you guys will find out more about if you watch the series. So I've mentioned the three protagonists, their personalities, goals, and aspirations. Now let's compare the formatting with Pokemon Journeys and the traditional anime we know. Firstly, let's take a look at the anime style. In Pokemon Journeys, I see what you would see in a traditional slice of life anime. You see your traditional students going to school, interacting with each other, and discussing what they want to be when they grow up. This is something we have never seen before in the Pokemon anime. People actually living normal lives outside of Pokemon. I am aware that Pokemon Sun and Moon did scratch on this semi, but that was a Pokemon Pokemon-related school and it only showed Ash and the other main protagonists. This approach is a more normal life one that expands outside of a regular Pokemon world we are used to seeing. It demonstrates that they are regular humans just doing their daily routines and going on with their normal lives. What I mean by normal lives is what we see in our own world. Civilians actually having regular jobs that aren't Pokemon-based. Don't get me wrong, we have seen this before, but what Pokemon Journeys covers is a lot more in-depth. Later in the anime, you will see exactly what I mean. Another quality that I really love is that both Ash and Go have goals, but they don't concentrate on their goals the entire time. They show them just hanging out with each other, exploring around, helping minor characters in the anime, and of course, helping Pokemon in need. The traditional anime does have these qualities, but I felt they introduced way too many minor characters to keep track of. In Pokemon Journeys, minor characters are introduced, but they introduce them in a way that's more impactful, thus making them more memorable. On top of that, they haven't introduced that many minor characters so far. In the earlier versions of Pokemon, we would have already had so many more characters I would have forgotten about already. Another aspect that's great about not having a lot of minor characters introduced is that we get to see more development of Go and his relationship with Ash, which in my opinion, they have done an excellent job so far. Heck, I would even say I like Go more than I do other protagonists Ash has traveled with. We see character development with Go way faster than you would with someone like Brock, Misty, Max, Dawn, you name it. Go doesn't have the same robot personality that most of the protagonists have, which I will touch upon more in a bit. It feels like they are trying to shift Go into an entirely different direction, which I'm 100% on board for. Even Koharu, whom we don't even know much about yet, still gets more character development than some main protagonists. Touching up on the point I said earlier about the robot personalities, what I mean is that all the protagonists had the same personality every generation. They have a goal, they do it, they have the same smile and positive attitude almost every episode, and sometimes on the occasion, they can show a little emotion. But to me, the emotion shown wasn't all that often, and I feel it robs some of the characters of some real rich character development. The future is now thanks to science. Let's whip up a happy recipe. Yeah, you get it, it's the traditional cliche protagonist. Go, however, I've seen him get upset, be happy, learn from Ash, and think for himself. The dude is actually amazing. I have one more factor I want to cover about formatting, and then we can move on to my final thoughts. Earlier I mentioned Ash and Go traveling all around the world, and they travel all around the world alright. They don't just stay in Kanto the entire time. They actually travel to other places. In the past, Ash has only stayed in one region for a period of time until he's completed the League. With this new traveling plan that they give Ash and Go, it gives Ash the opportunity to use more of his past Pokemon, and it really spices up this series with content they can do. They aren't just pigeonholed to doing the main series game objectives. They can actually turn Ash and Go into their own independent and free will characters. Having this new aspect also gives the viewer a more creative mind space in thinking what's going to happen next. Literally everything that's happened so far, I've had a shocked expression on my face. We can't easily predict what's going to happen anymore, because there's not a traditional story to follow. Ash and Go are just going on a road trip wherever they want. To me, this feels more adventurous, thus being more appealing for me to watch because it doesn't feel as cookie cutter. Wrapping up my final thoughts for Pokemon Journeys, I can't lie, I absolutely love this anime. I love the new formatting, the character development we've seen so far, and Pokemon's ultimate plan to make Ash really stand at the top. I want to elaborate on this, but I don't want to spoil anything too major. So just let your imaginations run wild and imagine what you think Ash would do to become the ultimate Pokemon master. Regardless though, you guys are just going to have to experience this for yourself. By just scratching the surface a little bit though, I can for sure tell you that this is the ultimate way to really sum up all of Ash's past accomplishments, show how much he's grown, and reminisce about his past experiences. Speaking of that, Pokemon has done an excellent job of showcasing just that. To keep it brief, Ash battles a certain trainer, and they mention his past battle with his trainer's mentor. I tell you, I got goosebumps when they mentioned that moment, because at the time, I was a little kid rushing home from school to watch Kids WB. I got up and actually applauded, because Pokemon made a nod to all of us veterans out there. That is the main reason why I praise Pokemon Journey so much. If you're a veteran Pokemon watcher like I am, that skipped over most of Unova, parts of Kalos, and the Alola anime, I think you will truly enjoy what Pokemon Journeys has to offer. It's the ultimate watch if you want a brand new experience and a nostalgia joyride. Well, that pretty much wraps up my thoughts on the new Pokemon anime. Tell me though, did I convince you to watch it, or are you just going to be a square? I'm just kidding. Let me know in the comments below though if you do plan to watch it or if you're already watching it. I really do think this new spin on the Pokemon anime will bring old viewers back like myself and will bring in brand new viewers who have never seen the Pokemon anime before. Honestly, with the way the new Pokemon anime is going now, I don't think you need to watch any of the past seasons to be able to understand what's going on or to enjoy it. But that's just my take though. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following following my Twitch where I stream all sorts of games from Pokemon to Fire Emblem to Zelda and much more. I also have an anime channel called MysticSage where I do anime reviews, rankings, and countdowns. So if you're interested in that kind of content, go ahead and check that out as well. If you want to support me even further and gain cool perks, check out my Patreon. These lovely people have all given me their support over there and I couldn't be more grateful to them. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbreon and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.